Hi, everybody. This is Deception in Healthcare in America with Kathy, Ann, and Jennifer. And today we're talking about colon cancer. So recently, James Vanderbeek died of colon cancer, and he was in his
48.
mid 48, and we're 46, but that's pretty young to be dying of colon cancer. So the recommendation for a colonoscopy is the age of 45. And I had a colonoscopy, and it wasn't pleasant, but having said that, there are actually a lot of people who have died from colon cancer, and I'm gonna list a few. So James Vanderbeek just died. You guys might know Chadwick Boseman. He was Black Panther. He died about the age of 43 of colon cancer. And some other people who you might recognize who have died from colon cancer is Kirstie Alley, Eartha Kitt, Elizabeth Montgomery, Audrey Hepburn, and there are people who have had colon cancer and survived, and some of those people are Morgan Freeman, Michael Douglas, Sharon Osbourne. It's the third most common cancer in the world. I think it's fourth in the United States, but third worldwide. And it's the second leading cause of cancer related deaths worldwide. And this is kind of shocking, but 30% of colon cancers are found in people under 55.
I was just fixing to say, yeah, it's young. Like they're finding it even in 30-year-olds. Like it's way too common. Mhm.
Yeah. So there's a lot of guidelines what to do, lifestyle factors they say that contribute to colon cancer, things like alcohol, smoking, being
Yeah, it's
overweight,
diet. It's diet.
diet.
It's just
Yeah.
it's what we eat and drink. And if you'll also go look like so people like in their 30s and under, this falls in line with your kids, even my kids that are older, young adults, right? They're not getting fiber like we used to get as kids or we even get now. Like they are not getting their fiber. If you'll go look at how many grams of fiber just like a 20-year-old gets, I mean, it's wow. It's like less than 10 a day, 10 grams or whatever it is. I think it's in grams. Um, it's it is astonishing. It is, like, mind-blowing.
I bet, and with all the ultra processed foods and stuff, yeah, they're not getting the fiber, they're not eating, like, home cooked beans and,
Mm.
a salad
No
and
vegetables at all.
no
No
vegetables.
vegetables.
Yes, so they're eating, like, veggie straws, which is just, like, not even a vegetable, they just take out all the nutrients, and it's just the
Cardboard?
vegetable starch,
Kinda like
and it's
fried
just
cardboard?
yeah, I've actually never had one before, I cannot do it, but, but the way they looks disgusting.
I believe it was an obsession when my daughter was in 4th grade. They would want us to bring snacks, and I would do snacks. And one time I went to Sam's and got the big box, with 50 packs or whatever in there and brought them. And, they make them look like carrots, spinach, and whatever else. They're green and orange because they're supposed to be, carrots and all that good stuff. I looked at the back of that, and that list kept going on, and I didn't know what half of that stuff, probably 3/4 of it was. I mean, it was complete garbage. And I just told her, you can eat these at school every once in a while, but, like, I'm not buying this anymore. Like, I don't want it in her diet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, cut up, like, some celery and some carrots and do a little bit of ranch or something, you know?
Yes. Yes.
So, if colon cancer is caught early, it has a really high survival rate. Once you catch it after stage 3, the survival rate gets really, really low. And this is kind of scary, but 1 in 24 people will be diagnosed with colon cancer in their lifetime. That's
I read
like
that.
a classroom full of kids. One person in your class is gonna be diagnosed with colon cancer.
Probably on the reserved side of actual numbers,
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
when you're pulling statistics, you're not really getting the full picture.
yeah. And something that's also pretty scary is that when it's in its earliest stages, it's almost symptomless. So you could have it and it's slow growing. You could have it for years and years and years before you even get a symptom.
Right.
And I actually, after James Vanderbeek died, I read an interview he did. So he said that his bowel habits started changing, and he thought that it was from coffee and cream in his coffee.
Mhm.
So, he kind of eliminated the coffee and the dairy, and it didn't work. So, he knew something was wrong, but he just thought it was his diet. So when and then he changed his diet, and didn't help his
Didn't help.
symptoms, and that's how we caught on. My mom had colon cancer, and she was not very forthcoming with her symptoms because it's embarrassing to talk about going diarrhea and going to the bathroom, so a lot of people won't share their bathroom habits,
Right.
and th actually, they're probably even embarrassed to tell their doctor. So I personally don't know what my mom was telling her doctor. I know she didn't feel right, and she knew something was wrong, and her bathroom habits changed. So she, I guess, was having diarrhea and had to go number 2 more often, and that's the only thing I know. And so she was never, um, diagnosed with colon cancer because she died before that all happened, but she went to the doctor for years, and no one ever I don't know if she told them that she was having bathroom changes, but if she did, they never put it together.
They never investigated it. Sounds like they just didn't do. But like you said, you don't know how much information. Your mom was pretty,
She was a
um
very private person,
yeah, very extremely. She didn't talk
so
about that kind of stuff, so
nope, nope, nope. So we don't know, but, your husband had his bout with colon polyps, and so what happened with him that he went to
yeah,
investigate?
this was actually well, I guess during COVID, we go to the doctor and get labs and stuff done every 6 months. I'm type 1 and he was previously type 2. We got rid of it with diet and stuff, but he just does every 6 months to make sure he's staying on track with all that. But anyway, he had done some blood work. He's like, "We haven't done like extensive blood work in a while. Let's just run whatever." Well, he's like, "Oh, it shows you're anemic." And I don't know which level it was, I can't remember, I don't wanna say because I don't wanna be wrong, but he had checked and he said, "You're anemic." He was like, "You've never been anemic before?" He was like, "When have you ever done a colonoscopy?" And he's like, "A what?" He said, "No." And men hate to go to the doctor anyway, so it's like puts them out to even go, so to tell them they're gonna have to go have something else like a colonoscopy or anything, a prostate check or anything, they're like, "Oh, this is why I don't go to the doctor." But
Yeah, you don't want nothing going up
yeah.
your butt.
Yeah. Yeah. But this is prominent with men anyway. These diseases actually run higher, I think, in men than women. If you go look at that, but these are some serious cancers that are becoming, you know, pretty serious. I mean, these statistics are rising and rising and rising. But anyway, so he went and he scheduled him one. He went. I went with them and I waited, and so he was back there for about an hour, I think, or something total. Then they came. The doctor actually came out. The nurse said the doctor would like to speak with you if you don't mind. I was like, oh, okay. Kind of got a little nervous. And because I had known other people, they're like, "Oh, it's no big deal. Go and get it done and leave." And it's uncomfortable and stuff, but just go on, like just like it never happened. He explained to me that polyps are not a good thing or and they shouldn't be common. He said that most people like that would be considered like super high risk or like they would keep on their radar would have 3, right? Well, my husband had 5 and he said they were large. And he handed me the pictures of them. They took pictures while they were in there and he said, they got them all out and everything but that they were precancerous. He said several of them, I think like 3 of them. Those were the larger ones, but anyway, um, anemia was gone after that, so that's what it was, and that's what caught it, and that's what I wanted to say is, a lot of people won't even go in unless they think something's wrong or, like, people wait until, like, just too many red flags pop up, but you don't have to wait on red flags at all, even if you feel fine or you feel good, being on patrol, he said he lived on Pizza Hut and, he's a single guy, he ate whatever single guys eat, a lot of meat. Just a lot of meat, some processed sausage, a lot of, hamburgers, pizza, just a lot of, things that we're not supposed to that's not supposed to be your diet, like your full diet all the time, a consistent diet. Like we're not talking indulging, sometimes because even when we first got married, it's like I saw those habits and of course he had to change gears. He had a family, we ended up having 2 kids along the way and this and that. So I did a lot of home cooking and we changed his diet. So just imagine that someone doesn't ever change their habits and they kinda go along and whatever, but Anyway, I mean, this kind of thing doesn't happen overnight either is what the man told me. Like, this is years of shit diet. I mean, he said it in a nice way, but I mean, so and we've already changed his diet, so we were already, like, well on top of that, so probably slowed this thing down even it probably could have been worse, but after that, I know I asked a few people because, and it is an uncomfortable question, but me being a nutritionist, I think made it go over a little better with some people, like people I knew. I would ask questions about like, have you had a colonoscopy? Like, how did that go? Did you have polyps? Like then all of a sudden I kind of became aware of it. It was intriguing to me, I guess, or I had it, piqued my curiosity, like, how many people are and a lot of people are like, "Oh, yeah, I had one of those removed." So to have 5, he said he needs to come in probably every 3 years, I would like to see him. I don't know if you can get him in here every 3 years, but, like, that's what, you know, he pretty much suggested for that situation because he said, "I just don't see this all the time." Anyways, that's the only experience I have with it. No one else in my family has it. His family has never had any colorectal cancer. Men won't go to the doctor. They're like, "No, I'm not going to the doctor. No, I don't have no, I haven't had that checked. No, I haven't had that done." I think I even asked my dad at the time, and he's like, "What?" Of course, he had a crazy answer. Even after I give you the whole story, the whole experience we had, blood work. Blood work caught that. He wasn't let me tell you, he was having no symptoms is what I wanted to go back to when you had touched on saying people like, the James Van Der Beek had he did have a change, right? Larry didn't notice anything. There was no issues at all. There was no symptoms, so, you
Yeah.
know
Actually, anemia is a symptom, but you wouldn't
Right,
know
right.
unless you got your blood checked.
But you got it right. So
Yeah.
that was the only marker, but to be that severe of a case by what get your blood work, like, I've had to do that, like, just to check vitamin D or something because insurance doesn't wanna cover a lot of this stuff. You can a lot of labs you can go get for cheaper. You can go and say, "Hey, can I get a panel of this?" And just kinda know what's going on with your body and, what the normal levels are
Yeah,
anyway.
so my dad goes and gets colonoscopies, and he gets polyps removed. They're always precancerous, and then I had a colonoscopy done, and for you guys that are, like, scared of a colonoscopy, I've personally had one done, and the prep is the worst because you can't eat, and then you have to drink the most
Right.
disgusting, sugary and you have to drink it, like, within 1 hour, and it's huge, and it makes you wanna throw up. You take a sip, and you're, like, gagging, and then you're running to the bathroom,
Yep.
and eventually, pretty
Cleans you
much,
out.
you're just pooping out clear liquid, which is what you're supposed to, and then the next day, you go in and, they put you in a gown, and then everybody's really has a really good sense of humor because they see people's butts all day, and they
Yeah.
they wheel you back there, and you never know what happens, and I didn't even know anything even went up my butt, but I had 0 polyps. My colon was clean.
Nice.
Yeah. So, I'm proud of myself. He said I could come back in 10 years, I believe.
I was gonna say, you probably have another 10 or 15 years because that's pretty top tier, pretty good.
So colonoscopy is not that bad, it's the prep that's bad, but now we have, something I think it's called, colon or color, and
Cologuard or something.
yes, yeah, they mail to your house and the commercials are really funny, but you can do
Mm.
like a poop smear and then they can test it for colon cancer, so you don't even have to go anywhere, you just have to, like, do play with your I make race cars out of my own poop. For Saturday Night Live, but yeah, but from what I understand, because our insurance company will give us those kits for free, but I think there's a high rate of, false negatives and false positives.
I was
So I
gonna
told my
say that.
husband to do the color guard or whatever that is, and he goes, "No, I don't wanna put my poop on a piece of paper." Then he tries to say he won't do it because it gives so many false positives and false negatives. It's just an excuse, for him not to take charge of his own health, you know? I would smear my poop on a card if I knew, if it was gonna detect cancer, and, if you get a false positive, go get your colonoscopy. Who cares?
Right.
But if you
Right.
get a false negative, that's something different.
Right. I would say just go it depend on your age, just go get the colonoscopy, especially if you're, like, anything at all. If you're on top of your blood work and something, like, it doesn't look right, the anemia, or, if your bowel habits have changed anyway, or if you know you've eaten crappy for most of your life, I do and genetics too, like, does anyone really close to you, one of your parents or a sibling or a cousin or a grandparent, is somebody has someone else dealt with it? I think, he did say it was a lot of it, like, you can wipe out a lot of that with diet, but like he was explaining to me, he was talking about the processed foods, like, they gave us a sheet of things for him to avoid from now on, which we had already avoided most of them, but, like, lunch meat, sausage, anything processed, anything from the time you get it from the animal or pull it up out of the ground, the more processes that it goes through, the further it gets from what it actually started out as. You wanna avoid anything that looks like that. So if
Yes.
it's in a package or a box, like, honestly, just don't even eat it. But I mean, how many people, I have this conversation with people every week, depending on who I'm consulting, about their nutrition, but, I mean, most people are like, I can't do that. Can I just cut back?" And I'm like, "Well, cutting back is better than not stopping, at all." So, I mean, or doing more of it. So, anyway,
And we need to
it's
look
your
at,
diet. It all comes back to your diet.
yeah, so the processed meat, like hot dogs, salami, stuff like that,
Lunch meat. Mhm.
lunch meat,
Sausage.
it's now a class 1 carcinogen. Did you know this?
Mhm. I
Um,
did, just like,
so
barbecue. I know that
yes,
was a wake-up call for me.
I do barbecue a lot. So a class 1 carcinogen is something that is known to cause cancer. So there is a direct linkage to cancer. That's freaking scary, okay?
What we do to smoked meats, that's what I was doing 2 or 3 meats a week. I would do a brisket, then I would do, like, a pork butt, then I would do, like, whatever. But when you're smoking them at 200, anywhere from 240 to 255 for 8 to 10 to 12 hours, and the meat turns, basically, you're not burning it, but it's awful. You're walking a thin line there. I'm just gonna go ahead and say you're charring it, but it tastes good. But yes, it tastes good. Yes, we love it. But yeah, go look up like barbecued meat and all that. Like that is we really shouldn't eat it at all.
Yeah,
It falls in there with that class of food.
yeah, scary.
And I love it. But you see, I've cut back. I think I'll do like every 3 months I'll do a brisket. Um, I do a pork butt probably one or two a year now, just because I'm kind of leaning away from pork anyway, because I found much about the worms. You can't even the heat doesn't even kill them, and you're eating them regardless. But kind of was gross to me. So like I was too aware of it when I'm looking at it's like I can look at it and see it. It never bothered me before, but it did. My daughter, she loves to research stuff, and she sent me something on that, and I'm like, thanks,
You know what?
Like,
Once you
well, mom,
know,
now you know.
well, so colon cancer, 3rd most common cancer in the world. A lot of us know somebody who has had
Yes,
it, who
yes.
has had polyps, who has had a colonoscopy. Just make sure that you're trying to live your best healthy life, exercising, eating closest to the source, keeping your
Mhm.
weight down, don't
Oh,
smoke.
that's a big one. That's a big one, weight, especially people who carry weight, around the midsection, like where they say the tire, where men have a tire, or us women get these muffin
Yeah,
tops, or anyway,
yeah,
the
muffin tops.
extra that would go around your kidneys and your liver and your pancreas, all that, if you're carrying extra weight there, yeah, that's not gonna be your only problem, but that's definitely gonna be one of them.
Right. And, look for these changes like James Vanderbeek said, it was very subtle, he just thought it was his diet, but something
Mhm.
changes, and, so look for these changes, and, if you have blood, in the toilet, I mean, or, your poop is like tar-like, that's a sign. Cramping, losing weight, and you're not even trying to. So just notice if you notice these changes, and sometimes your doctor won't believe you. The doctors didn't believe my mom, and they didn't believe me, but push for it. I mean, you know,
Request a colonoscopy.
request a colonoscopy. It's really not that bad. I'm serious. It's just drinking the 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 sugar juice and
Yeah, I think you
using the
start the day
bathroom.
before. I had forgotten that part. That was really hard for Larry. It kinda made him nauseated. Like, I think this went on for I wanna say it went on that whole day, that whole night, and the next morning. So this went on for, a little over 24 hours, like, no food. I kinda had
Yeah,
forgot about that. Yeah, you
yeah,
can't have anything but what they give you to drink, and you have to drink it at the intervals that's on the paper. It was, like,
yes.
every so many hours or whatever, right? Yeah, and
it
it got
was,
pretty
and
hard for him to
you had to
chug.
drink it fast.
I remember him hold his nose. But, and then the other thing that you mentioned, and people don't like talking about your bowel movements, but you need to know, like, as far as shape, consistency, like the consistency they come out in, like, it shouldn't be watery. It shouldn't just like be like if it were to land on a piece of paper, it shouldn't smear. It should have some solidity to it and look at the color. And you guys can go look this up on the internet. We don't have to go through all this on here. It would take a minute, but know the color. It shouldn't be black like that there's blood in there. Like it shouldn't be green or any of those colors either, or even yellow. I've heard of yellow. Like that means there's something going on there. You're either not absorbing nutrients, and you need to know why. Also, that goes on in your large and small intestines and moves to the colon, and then that's where it comes out last. So, but it should have a certain color. And
Yeah,
then if you drink a blue drink or your kid drinks a blue drink, of course it's going to come out green, but it shouldn't stay green. It shouldn't be green all the time.
yeah, I was
Um,
just about to say that if you have a ocean water from Sonic and then the next day your
yep.
poop is green.
Yep, my kids used to think that was so funny when they went through the ocean water phase, but,
Yeah,
or some of these kids that drink these Baja Blasts, I've
and that's
heard
not
funny stories about
yeah,
it,
and
which,
that's not yeah, that's not good
no,
for you. That's food
that's
dye.
not even
You don't wanna be
we
putting
had the
food dye
same
in yourself.
thought. You shouldn't be at the Taco Bell drive-thru anyway. You're gonna have diarrhea. We call that taco hell because, probably once or twice a year, my daughter will really just crave, whatever those crunchy wraps are, and, we call it taco hell because it's gonna give your bowels hell for, like, probably 24 hours to straighten back up. It's like, what in the world is in there? But anyway, yeah,
As you guys can
y'all
see, we like to talk about our poop, so don't make it weird, it's
hey,
okay.
who doesn't poop? If you're not pooping, you're not human anyway, so that's just you know what I mean? But yeah, it's a huge telltale sign, and then also, if you've gotten up in age and you're getting close to 50, I would say at least if you're 50, even if you had no symptoms of anything, stay on top of your blood work, and I say do that for even your children, but, I mean, your lab work, people don't understand. It's so easy. It catches so much stuff. It catches vitamin deficiencies, and it catches like anemia, like, you shouldn't be anemic. They can catch a lot of things in the earlier stages, but that is my recommendation. Lab work and know what your poop is supposed to look like.
All right, you guys, that's our podcast on colon cancer today. We hope you learned something and were entertained, and we will be back next time with another topic. Bye now.
See y'all later.